Good morning. This is Kamera. It's day number 97. We're on 2 Samuel, chapter 8 through 12. So now David is king over all of Israel. God has really blessed him. He has multiple wives, concubines, children. He has a new palace. God has made promises to David to show him how much he loved and just to show David how much he loves and him and appreciates his faithfulness to God. So yeah. So the books today start off with David going through many battles, winning many battles. It talks about how a lot of the places where they raided, the lands where they destroyed, the plunder, all the plunder that David get, all the metals or the gold he would get, he would dedicate those to the Lord. He would, of course, kill off a lot of them, but there were some he saved as slaves or servants. They became subjects to David. So yeah, David is known to be a great king. He does right and just by the people. So yeah, David is doing pretty good. So, story talks about one of the places, one of the kings died, King Nahash of, I believe, the Ammonites. David felt that this king showed him loyalty. It must have been when he was running from Saul. Anyway, I'm trying to remember when. I only remember one Nahash. And that was the one who gouged out the eye of the children of Israel way back when Saul was Saul's first battle as king. Can't be talking about that one. First of all, no, he can't be talking about that one. I was trying to remember, but this King Nahash, clearly David really liked him, appreciated him at one point. So he dies, and so David decided, I want to show sympathy to his son. He sends ambassadors to express his sympathy. Listening to friends, this guy Hanan, the son of Nahash, they tell Hanan, yeah, you really think David came here to show you sympathy? He just want to spy out your land so he can take over. You know how many times I read in the Bible where people would listen to their friends? Really? And it don't turn out well because the friends don't give good advice. Anyway, he listens to his friends. The ambassadors, they shave off their hair, like half of their beards or somewhat, whatnot, and then they cut off their robes up to their buttocks or whatever. Anyway, yeah, send them back home to David. David sees the shame. You know, what was done to his bastards was shameful. So now David's upset. This king Hanan, the Prince Hanan, now the king, I guess, they hear that David's upset. They line up their army to fight David and his people. So David's like, okay, you guys want a war now, okay. So yeah, sent out Joab and Abishai, and they, yeah. Oh, and David at one point too. They all were part of that war, and it looked like over 40,000 of I guess it was the Ammonites or Arameans. They all joined that battle. They were a lot of them were killed. The Arameans became subjects. Yeah, a lot of crazy stuff because of this guy and his listening to his paranoid friends. I don't know, bad advice. So yeah, that's what happened there. So fast forward, David is, I believe we're now home now, and instead of going out to battles, during this time of the year, it's known that men go out to battle. David spots this female, has a fling with her, knowing that she was a married woman. She gets pregnant. David creates this conspiracy where this person, husband is called, and husband is a loyal servant, warrior, not doing what David had planned, which is go home to your wife, sleep with her, so the child would be considered his. This guy Uriah's. Uriah's that faithful where he's not gonna sleep with his wife. So David's like, oh, that didn't work out where I planned. Yeah, Uriah was a faithful servant, warrior, one of his mighty warriors actually. So okay, that's plan B. Let's go ahead and I'm gonna send him back. Have Joab put him in the front line, have him killed. Gets a message. Yeah, Uriah is dead. Now David is free to marry Uriah's wife once the mourning period is over. Yeah, that's where we are. All right. So yeah, worked out the way David wanted. You know, not exactly the way he wanted, but he made a mistake. Let his temptation overtake him. It's funny how one sin can lead up to another, and that's what happened with David. I'm not going to hold it against him, even though a lot of people does. I still love myself some King David. And it looks like the span of this may have lasted maybe a couple months because he had to first sleep with her. She found out the next month she's pregnant. Lets David know. I'm sure it takes time to send for her husband. Yeah, so I would say in less than 3 months all this happened. So David became an adulterer, a murderer, I don't know, a liar. I don't know. But that's right. David was 30 years old when he became king of all of Israel. So 30 years of his life, he did right by God. For about 3 months, he, was not a good thing. But you know what the crazy part about it? First of all, Prophet Nathan comes, because David feel like, okay, I took care of that matter. Prophet Nathan comes. God wasn't pleased, first of all. Yeah. Prophet Nathan comes, tells David this parable, this rich man, poor man type of tale. At the end of that story, David's like, oh my God, that man deserves to die. But you know, what he should do is pay back this guy a certain amount. Okay. Nathan says, you're that man. You're the one. You took Uriah's one wife. I blessed you, David, to be king. God blessed you. This is what God tells Nathan to tell David. I blessed you as king. I anointed you as king. I protected you against Saul. I gave you this kingdom. I set you up, basically. If that was not enough, all you had to do was ask. David, you despised me in front of everyone. You despised me in front of everyone, and you just despised me. You despised me. You showed me contempt by doing that. You sinned against me, basically. You disrespected me, basically. You have my enemies laughing right now. Yeah. If that had not been enough, David, all you had to do was ask. And we got to be careful, guys, about what we allow ourselves. You can't always help what you see, but you can. You do have the power. And if you don't have the power, you can ask God for it just because you want to do his will. Have the power to reject what you accept, what you allow to meditate on your mind, what you allow to get to the point where it gets to your heart and drive you into giving into that temptation. David was a man of God. David was a faster. He would fast. He would pray. He would seek God. He let his guard down that one moment. And I can honestly say, this is one of those readings that shows so much about the fairness of God. People get mad at leaders for not doing right by God. People who are not in position feels like God has favoritism to other people, or that God will, God doesn't love me more than the next person. God doesn't love his greatest servant more than the biggest sinner. He has no respect to a person. The most faithful, there's a fine line. The least faithful, there's a fine line. And yes, God grants favor to those people who are obedient to them. But he's not going to allow them to sin just because they've been faithful all these years. No, you don't get a pass. A sin is a sin is a sin is a sin. And so this is what I like about this reading. David, faithful all his years, does something to the least of his servants, a poor man. And God punishes David in a way that is it's not cool. He showed him mercy. He said, David sees, okay, oh my God, I sinned against God. Yes, David, you did sin against God. When we sin against people, we sin against God. When we sin against God. You sinned against God. That's what you did. And so because you did this, the sword will never leave your family. Your children are going to rebel against you. I'm going to allow your wives to be taken and slept with in the open. Yeah, and the kid that you made with Bathsheba is going to die. Yeah, but David, I'm not going to kill you. So that goes to show me that it doesn't matter how powerful you are as a leader. It doesn't matter how faithful you are as a man or woman of God. God doesn't love you more than he loved the worst sinner. He just doesn't. He loves us all. Like any parent loves all of their children. He loves all of us equally. He expects obedience. And so we don't have to fear or get upset when we see a man or woman of God. Oh, they get away with murder. Oh, hex to the no, they will not get away with murder. They will not. So don't look at the next person and say, well, they're no better Christian than I am. I'm not going to go to church. I'm not going to do this because that person ain't right by God. You focus on your relationship with God and you be faithful to God. We're all responsible for our own soul salvation. No one gets a sin pass. No one. God loves all of us equally. He loves all of us very much equally. And so, David's son with Bathsheba, after she have him, kid is sick, David's fasting, praying on his knees. Everyone's looking at, noticing that he's not eating, fasting, praying and all that. Kid dies. People are afraid. Okay. Guys, his servants afraid. David noticed they're whispering and he's like, well, is the child dead? And they're like, yeah, kid is dead. David gets up, washes himself, cleans up, eat. People's like, okay, but shouldn't he be in mourning now? David's like, why should I be in mourning? God has made his decision. There's nothing I can do now. That's so true, though. It really is. There's nothing more. I prayed and I fasted basically for God to have mercy and change his mind. He didn't change his mind. So, it happens. So, it goes on to say that David mourns, comforts Bathsheba. Eventually, they have another kid. And that kid is Solomon. The Bible says David loved Solomon. And so things go back to normal where David goes out to battle. That's where we are. So, guys, that was day number. Oh, before I even finish up, please, guys, read that part of the Bible. I believe that started in chapter 11, 2 Kings chapter 11 with David and Bathsheba. But there's so much to that. So much to that. So yeah, I said go for it. Read it. You'll see God throughout that thing. I'm telling you. And that is day number 97. 2 Samuel chapter 8 through chapter 12. 5 chapters. Yeah, that's where we are. You guys have a God-filled blessed day.